Eagle 95.1 WUPN Paradise, Sault Ste. Marie.
It's time for The Game. Eagle 95.1 proudly brings you The Game, the Twin Sault's only regional and national sports show. For the next hour, we'll get an in-depth look at sports in the Eastern Upper Peninsula and Algoma region and hear from coaches and players involved in The Game. Now, let's join Scott Nason at the Wicked Sister on Ashman Street in downtown Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan, for tonight's broadcast of The Game on Eagle 95.1.
Time to play the game. Time to play the game!
Glorious! No, I won't give in till I'm victorious. And I will defend.
Greetings and salutations and welcome to The Game on this Monday night, July 9th, 2018. Scott Nason broadcasting from the Wicked Sister on Ashman Street for our first show in the month of July. And you can hear The Game on thegamesportshow.com as well as thegamesportshow.podbean.com or go on YouTube to our YouTube channel. We are at the Wicked Sister on this beautiful Monday night, summertime in Sault Ste. Marie, or as Kid Rock would sing, summertime in northern Michigan. Come on down and join us at the Wicked Sister. Always lots going on, including this Thursday. Monkey Fist Brewery is going to be holding a tap takeover here at the Wicked Sister as they're going to have all 8 taps filled with their wide variety of beverages. And as always, you can come down and have a great snack, appetizer, or meal at the Wicked Sister. We'll be joined by Katie Wollan in our next segment talking about the NBA, free agency, and more. Then we'll be joined by Butch Davis from the Telegram News and Butch on Sports, who will get us up to date on what's going on in the Detroit area. And Dave McCaig, host of the Game Sports Show from Soo, Ontario, will be joining us for the roundtable in the second half of the show, as we have a lot to cover. Boy, we take a week off and so much happens. So let's get everyone caught up to date on what's going on in the world of local sports. July, usually not a very busy time in local sports, but there are some things going on, including EUP Travelers baseball. They were involved in a tournament this weekend at the James and Laux Field, the Smith Sanitation Invite. And the Travelers, well, they started off very well, going 4-0. In round-robin play, the Travelers defeated Gwin on Friday 9-3. They also topped the Escanaba Cubs 9-1. And then on Saturday, they defeated Escanaba 15-0 in 3 innings, and Marquette 4-1 to go into the elimination round with a 4-0 record. However, on Sunday, the Travelers fell to Bark River by the score of 4-3 as Dwayne England hit a 2-run homer for Bark River in the top of the 7th inning for the win. James Burton had a triple and double for the Travelers, while Alex Morehouse went 3 for 3. Logan Bailey and Derek Eddington shared the mound duties for the Travelers, who are now 16-8 overall and will be at Gaylord on Tuesday. Gladstone would win that tournament over the weekend, topping Bark River in the final. UP All-Star football game was played about a week and a half ago in front of over 2,000 fans in Marquette, Michigan. It was the black team defeating the red team by the score of 14-7, and an EUP athlete was named red team's offensive MVP, Jeff Rahilly of Newberry. Other individuals receiving awards by EUP players included Sioux High's Francis Schneid. He was named Black Team's Character Award winner, and the traveling trophy was presented to the black team and head coach Al Stenberg of Bark River Harris. A miniature version of the trophy was also presented to Iffer Marshall, head coach at St. Ignace on behalf of Marty Spencer, who was the head coach for the victorious black team in 2017. Now Marty's retiring, enjoying life and umpiring. He'll be umpiring probably next weekend here for a local softball tournament. Well, hockey is not being played right now, but we have a lot of local hockey news. Let's start with the Soo Greyhounds, who a little over a week ago had their CHL import draft. The Greyhounds had the 58th overall pick with their selection. They selected Roman Pucek from the Czech Republic. 6'2", 168-pound forward, played last season with HC Vestin in the under-18 Czech League. 41 regular season games, Pucek notched 26 goals to go along with 47 assists and 73 points. And with their second pick, the Soo Greyhounds took centerman Jaromir Plajček, who was chosen from HC Zadar Nad Savovo League. I hope I got that right, but I know it's in the Czech Republic, and his first name's Jaromir, so we have had some good players come out of the Czech Republic named Jaromir. Jaromir Jagr, I think, was the one that maybe comes to mind the most. Soo Greyhounds also announced this past week that another coach is leaving, as Joe Sorella will be joining the Stockton Heat, the affiliate of the NHL's Calgary Flames, as an assistant coach. Sorella joined the Greyhounds in 2012 as an assistant coach and was promoted to associate coach before spending 6 seasons in Sault Ste. Marie. So the Hounds still on the search for a head coach, and obviously they're going to need some assistant coaches as well. Soo Greyhounds' Barrett Hayton was selected 5th overall by the Arizona Coyotes in the NHL entry draft in June, and he signed this week an entry-level contract with the team. As Hayton, who had a strong development camp, was signed as the 18-year-old scored 21 goals and 60 points in 63 Ontario Hockey League games with the Soo Greyhounds last year. The terms of the deal were not yet disclosed, and Hayton has been invited to attend Hockey Canada's World Junior Showcase event, which will begin on July 28th in Kamloops, British Columbia. Soo Ontario native and guest of the game, Colin Miller for the Las Vegas Knights. Well, he's going to remain in Vegas as the Knights locked him up for 4 years as the 25-year-old blue liner signed a $15.5 million contract, avoiding salary arbitration. As Miller, who had a career-high 41 points last season, led all Vegas defensemen in scoring. And so the Soo Greyhounds former player, who was selected by the LA Kings in the 5th round of the 2012 NHL entry draft, will be playing in Vegas for the foreseeable future. Anybody that's a guest to the Game Sports Show, we like maybe a little bit more than the average. So congratulations to Colin Miller. We'll talk to Dave McCaig about that one as, well, he's pals, or chums, I guess they say on that side of the border, with Colin Miller. NOJHL has released their schedule for the 2018-2019 season. The 336-game slate will start on Friday, September 7th, with 4 games on the docket, including the defending NOJHL champion Cochrane Crunch, as they will raise their league championship banner at the Tim Horton Event Center. That'll be one of the first games, and the Soo Greyhounds and Soo Thunderbirds will also be on that opening night, September 7th, at the John Rhodes Community Center, and the border battle will begin early. The Eagles' home opener will be on September 21st. That's a Friday, as they will face Blind River at Puller Stadium. Some other changes to the league as far as rules. The overtime format has been changed. They're going to go to what most of the other junior hockey leagues do. Should the teams be tied after regulation, the two sides will play a 5-minute overtime session with clubs playing 3 skaters aside. If tied, the shootout will be back to determine a winner, with a minimum of 3 shooters per side being used. So they're going to get rid of the 4-on-4 for the first 5 minutes, the 3-on-3 for the second 5 minutes, and then calling it a tie, which I liked. Actually, I thought that was a great overtime setup. But they're going more to what the NHL does, what more the OHL does. And so I guess I understand that, but I'm a big fan of the tie. I got to admit, I'm wearing a soccer jersey as we speak. I love the tie. But even in the World Cup, you have to break those ties with the shootout. So we'll go with that one. The NOJHL Showcase will be on October 9th and 10th this year in Sudbury. And this just announced yesterday, although I did get wind of this last week. Lake Superior State assistant hockey coach Rich Mitro You have to put former assistant hockey coach, as he has accepted a head coaching position at Shattuck St. Mary's Prep and Boarding School in Faribault, Minnesota. Mitra will make his transition in the coming weeks, joining the hockey program highly regarded as one of the top prep hockey programs in the country. Get a list of some of the alumni from this squad, including Sidney Crosby, Jonathan Tays, Zach Parisi, among others. And so congratulations to Rich Mitra, who has been on the Laker hockey staff for some time, 8 years combined. He did go coach professionally in France. And so best of luck to Richie. He will be missed, but hey, it sounds like a great opportunity. And he'll be coaching some high school hockey and some very good high school hockey in Minnesota. We're going to take a break here on the game. We're about a month away from the opening practices of the high school sports season. High school football, high school volleyball, soccer, cross country, and more. So we're going to have a few guests coming on over the next few weeks to talk more about some of the local events and sports, including Sioux Michigan Hockey Association. We're going to have their brand new president, Jeremy Gagnon, coming on here probably the month of July. And we haven't confirmed this next week, but we're going to be getting Marcus Davis, who has expressed interest to come on to our show. He's been on our radio station, Eagle 95.1, promoting his basketball camp, which my oldest son, Vance, is going to be a part of. And Marcus is going to be here. He does a lot of great work with local athletes, and boy, he pushes these athletes. And we're going to have a lot of fun talking to him about the camp and give my son a preview of what he has in store. Probably have to run some laps. I think he works them pretty hard. But we're going to have Marcus Davis more than likely on the show next week. Got to get a confirmation from him as well. We're going to take a break here on the game. We come back. We're going to talk to our newest member of the game, Katie Wollan, who's going to be here to discuss basketball, the NBA. Boy, oh boy. I got to say, I got to give myself a pat on the back on this. When we talked 2 weeks ago about where LeBron would go, and only I figured out where he was going to go and where he did go. But there's lots still to figure out in the NBA free agent market. We're going to talk about that with Katie and more coming up on the game here on Eagle 95.1.
Get Wicked Catering from the crew at the Wicked Sister.
We like to think of ourselves as foodies. While our favorite foods are paired with a beer tasting at the Wicked Sister, you can now have the same creative menu for your next catered business luncheon, family get-together, wedding, or holiday party. Our white truffle risotto appeals to your gluten-free and vegetarian guests. Add sautéed shrimp or freshly grilled chicken for a pop of protein. Or let us build you a custom menu to suit your needs. From plated events of 15 to buffets for 200, the Wicked Sister will cater your event with tapas, snacks, cravables, or a full sit-down dinner.
The Wicked Sister, where you'll be treated like family, whether you like it or not.
The Game Sports Show would like to thank an additional sponsor and additional home to the Game Sports Show, Sports Center Bar and Grill. Sports Center Bar and Grill, located on 624 Wellington Street West, Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. Sports Center rated top sports bar for the second year in a row. At Sports Center, enjoy their famous 75-cent wing night along with delicious Molson products on tap, along with a great atmosphere and other great food options available as well. Sports Center Bar and Grill, the Sioux's best sports bar.
Welcome back to the game on Eagle 95.1 and online at thegamesportshow.com, thegamesportshow.podbean.com, or go to YouTube and find the Scott Nason channel. Scott Nason at the Wicked Sister on Ashman Street on this Monday night. Beautiful night in Sault Ste. Marie, the post-4th of July holiday edition of the game. We'll be joined in our next segment by Butch Davis from the Telegram News and Butch on Sports, who will get us up to date on what's going on in Detroit. And then Dave McCaig, host of the Game Sports Show from Boston Pizza, Sports Center Bar and Grill, and for the first time last night, Silver Creek Golf Resort or Club in Sault, Ontario. So Dave, he just getting more and more sponsors on board, and he's going to join us. He's put 3 shows on last week on thegamesportshow.com, so check out his shows from Sault, Ontario, and he'll be joining us here as well. Speaking of joining us, Katie Wollan joining us here at the Wicked Sister on this Monday night. Brand new sales rep for Eagle 95.1. Katie, thanks for coming in on this Monday night.
Well, thank you for having me, Scott. I just wanted to say I liked your intro for yourself, Scott Nason. A lot of emphasis. I like that.
About making it all about myself?
No. I mean, you never make it about yourself.
No.
But I just liked it. It was just like the perfect amount.
Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Katie, did you have a good 4th of July holiday?
I did. I went out to Brimley State Park and camped, and I heard you had also a great time. Tell everyone what you did.
Oh, went to the beach and shot off fireworks. I mean, what more could you do on the 4th?
That's great.
Beautiful weather we've had here. Last summer, we didn't quite have the weather I think we've had so far, but geez, this week looks warm, and I'm not complaining one bit.
Yes, this is definitely the warmest it's been in a while.
Well, Katie, we were here 2 weeks ago talking about the NBA, which you and I are going to discuss here before we get to Butch, and we were talking about where LeBron would go come July, and there were differing opinions, and some of us thought he might stay in Cleveland, some of us thought he might go somewhere else, but there was one guy, and I'm going to give myself a pat on the back on this one, that said he's going to L.A., it makes sense. LeBron James, a Los Angeles Laker.
I didn't believe you.
What are your thoughts on that? When you first heard it, were you shocked, surprised, or what was your feelings on that?
I was definitely shocked. I was like freaking out, and I had to text everyone I knew what was going on. That follows basketball, of course, and that's pretty much my reaction. I just couldn't believe it.
Is it because the team is struggling, or what surprised you so much about it?
It wasn't really the team itself. I think it was mainly because it's the Western Conference. That's the kicker for me, because I just never could see him in the West. I could only see him in the East.
Right. Well, he does have a home out in Los Angeles, so I always thought that was something. And, you know, you look at the Los Angeles Lakers. I mean, obviously, when you talk franchises in the NBA, really, you talk 2 franchises. You talk the Celtics and you talk the Lakers. I mean, yes, there's now you talk Golden State, the Bulls, you know, other teams, but those are the 2 marquee franchises. And so that was my thoughts as far as, you know, LeBron and his decision. I figured it would be a couple places, but as it went along, I really saw Los Angeles as being that one. And you got to give it up to Magic Johnson now, who's kind of running the show out there.
Yeah.
I mean, he's proving that.
Showtime Lakers for a reason.
Yeah, Showtime Lakers for a reason. We'll talk about some of their other moves. But what really surprised me, I guess, and it kind of took away LeBron's luster, if you will, was, what was it, a day later or a couple days later?
Yep.
Golden State makes a move. They get Cousins from New Orleans, who probably won't play to the second half of the season, a one-year deal. And I want to talk about that subject as well, but Golden State potentially could have 5 All-Stars in one lineup. I mean, what do you think about the addition of Cousins to that team if he gets healthy, which it sounds like he will?
Okay, well, I think that's going to be an amazing lineup. Obviously, they won't have him the first half, like you said, but I'm kind of excited to see what's going to happen with Golden State and Cousins, but also I just don't want them to completely dominate. I mean, I am a fan of the Golden State Warriors. I like to watch them. I like their style of play, but, you know, as we've seen from the last couple years of playoffs, they've been way better than everyone else. Like, the competition, it's like nothing to them. So I'm kind of afraid that could happen or continue to happen.
We'll get more into that subject here later on in our segment, Katie, but I just wanted to go over some of the free agent signings or re-signings. Kevin Durant, really no surprise, signing with Golden State again. A $61 million deal, whatever that is. Paul George staying with Oklahoma City. He agrees to a 4-year, $137 million contract. Some people thought he might move to Los Angeles with LeBron or go elsewhere. Did George re-signing with Oklahoma City surprise you?
It slightly surprised me, not quite as much as the LeBron, but I mean, Paul George can still do what he wants kind of next year. If he wants, he can leave. But based on what he said in April, he was happy in Oklahoma City, and I think he likes Russ by his side. He knows he's got a great point guard right by him. But Carmelo Anthony, on the other hand, we know he's going to leave.
Now, where does he fit in somewhere? I mean, I think Oklahoma City, they're just happy to get rid of him and free up some space because that contract's a killer with their cap.
Yeah. The only thing I think about Carmelo Anthony, the only team that comes to mind is maybe the Houston Rockets. The reason why Carmelo Anthony, he wants to be in the starting five, and he would have to take a smaller role, step back with OKC, and he's not okay with that. So maybe he could fit into the Houston Rockets if they get rid of Trevor Ariza, if that's possible. And he would have more of a shooting role. Defensively, he's not quite there. He's 34 years old, and they would need another defender for Houston. But I think he could possibly fit there.
Well, speaking of Houston, Katie, they did sign Chris Paul 4 years, $160 million there, and Clint Capella. Still, he's a restricted free agent. Any word on him? Is he going anywhere, or do you think he stays?
I honestly think he's going to stay.
I do too.
I don't follow him quite much, but I do like his game, and he is killer on the boards and just putbacks, whatever it may be. He's an exciting player for the Houston Rockets.
Some of the other names that stick out to me as far as big signings, Denver re-signed Nikola Jokic to 5 years, $148 million. Is that guy that good? $148 million?
I don't even pay attention to him that much, but, I always hear the hype on him, but, I don't think he's worth that much either.
We mentioned DeMarcus Cousins, DeAndre Jordan. He signs a deal with the Dallas Mavericks, who look to be, with their draft and everything, making some moves. 1 year, $22.9 million. Aaron Gordon re-signed with Orlando. 4 years, $76 million. Julius Randle was on the Lakers. He is now on New Orleans, so a bit of a surprise there. Randle, he was a young player. I think he averaged 16 points. Just maybe not a good fit with LeBron there. Is that the reason you think he got rid of Randle, or did they have to free up some room?
I think they definitely had to free up some room, just exactly what you said. And we haven't heard anything about Isaiah Thomas yet either, or Channing Frye. I don't know. I think Channing Frye is staying with the Lakers, but Isaiah Thomas is an unrestricted free agent, I believe.
Yes.
So he'll definitely be out the door. We just don't know where. So just like you said, freeing up some space.
Yeah, you mentioned Isaiah Thomas. A couple others that are free agents or restricted free agents. Marcus Smart for Boston. He is a restricted free agent at 24. And Jabari Parker at Milwaukee. You look at this Milwaukee team, and Parker and the Greek guy, how do you say his last name?
Antetokounmpo.
Yes, I think you got it right there. Yes. And, at some point, Milwaukee's going to have to try to keep him there. For these smaller market teams, like a Milwaukee, like a Utah, like some of the others, it's really hard to keep these guys once they get good when there's these super teams out there. And that leads me to my next question, Katie, is a lot of people not happy with NBA and these super teams and what Golden State's doing. A lot of people. Dave McCaig, I'm sure, will be one of those people that will have a lot of problem. He had a lot of problems when Durant went there a couple years ago, and he's probably going to have some problems with DeMarcus Cousins going there. Do you think that's bad for the NBA, having these super teams?
The super teams. Well, see, my opinion on that is they kind of developed that themselves. Like, they just clicked. Like, they weren't anything special. They weren't number one, number two picks.
And they did draft a lot of these players.
Yeah.
Most of the players they did draft.
Exactly. That's just something that worked out that way. But you are going to get to this next question here. But I do think that other teams should have some chances against the Golden State Warriors other than the East-West stuff going on.
Yeah, my take on, a lot of Golden State haters out there. I don't particularly like Golden State. I don't particularly like that. You look at next year, it's hard to see another team knocking off Golden State with all the pieces right now. However, it's kind of like when the New York Yankees won. It's kind of like when some of these other teams, like the Red Wings, you could say the same thing for the Red Wings. A lot of Red Wings fans back before the salary cap, they stocked their team back in 2002. You had Brett Hull, Luc Robitaille, getting all these guys to play. So you can't be fans of that and then all of a sudden see what Golden State's doing and say, well, that's wrong. They're not breaking any rules. There is a cap space. They do have cap room, and it's how they wiggle it around with the luxury tax, which I am not a big I don't know a whole lot about that
the business side.
The business side of it, but I don't think they're doing anything illegally.
Nope.
They've had some very smart drafts. Obviously, getting Curry was a steal, no matter where you get them. But you have players like Durant, and Dave McCaig gave Durant all sorts of raspberries when he made the decision to go to Golden State, and I defended him then. I was like, hey, he's got to do what's best for him. You don't have in sports now like you had even when I was growing up, which makes me sound old, which
we all know you're not, Scott.
Thank you,
continue.
Katie. I was hoping for that. But, you look at the Cal Ripkens, the Steve Yzermans, guys that have played their whole careers on one team. That's not how it happens anymore. Now, Curry will probably play his whole career in one team, barring, but you never know. LeBron James thought he might always stay in Cleveland.
Yeah.
He's moved a few times. So I don't think it's bad for the NBA as far as, what they're doing. I think maybe it makes it a little more predictable. So that leads me to my final question here, Katie. Yeah. When it comes to the NBA, there has been discussions earlier this year, and I heard on some Talk Sports Radio this weekend a little more discussion about the NBA and their playoff structure. Now, how it currently is there's 30 teams in the NBA. 16 get in. So more than half the teams get into the NBA. Or get into the playoffs. I don't think there's many people that are saying they should expand the playoffs anymore. I certainly am not one of those people. I think 16 out of 30 teams is enough. But what a lot of people are starting to talk about is, as far as the playoffs, right now you have 1 versus 8 in the East, 2 versus 7, the traditional playoff format. And there are some that say that should be scrapped, and there should be 16 teams, and you just 1 through 16. So if 1 is the Golden State Warriors and 16 is the Phoenix Suns next year, that's great. They play each other. Or if 16 is the Miami Heat, they would play the Golden State Warriors. Now, there are some people that say that's going to cause travel concerns. Maybe that you're going to have it more regionalized, where the East is going to be eliminated so early that nobody west of east of the Mississippi is going to be watching the NBA playoffs. What do you think about that? Are you a proponent of that?
I would have to agree with probably what everyone's been talking about over even the past couple of years, but now it's been brought up even more. I would like to see a different change in the format of the playoffs. And if it didn't go well, you can always change it back. Things like that happen all the time. 1 through 16 seeding would be pretty cool to see. For example, you have the Boston Celtics and the Houston Rockets. They were probably about the same seed, or how many wins and losses.
Right.
And those two teams would be great to see or watch in a semifinals playoff game. And then you would have known that obviously the Houston Rockets would have won, possibly, but you would have seen 3-3. I know you saw Cleveland and Boston was 3-3. So the East side was, very competitive. I like seeing that. But on the West side, Golden State Warriors blowing out the Cavaliers, that was not fun for anyone to see. And if it's going to be like that for the next 2-3 years, you're going to get a lot of unhappy fans.
So you would change the playoff format to what you just said?
Yeah, because honestly, the Houston Rockets and the Golden State Warriors probably should have been the two teams at the end. And as you can see, the Golden State Warriors beat them, but they were tied 3-3, and that would have been such a more exciting finals series.
Yeah, I'm a traditionalist when it comes to this. I don't like to see the rules change too much on this. The one thing I can see that would be a problem is if you have a West Coast team, say the Los Angeles Lakers, they technically could meet an Eastern team 4 times in the playoffs, and that causes a lot of travel issues. It's a lot of back and forth, so that's my biggest issue with that. And the fact is that, you very well could have the Eastern teams knocked out very early, which means that it's more of a regional concern. If you have Houston and Golden State and the Los Angeles and Dallas, say, in the Final Four, then you're losing a lot of markets in the East. And I like the way it is now. I think at some point it'll switch back. You look over history. It hasn't always been the West that has won. There has been many times that the East has won. Look at the Pistons. Look at the Celtics. Look at the Bulls. The East has done very well. It's a moment of, where the pendulum can always swing back. Golden State's not going to win 10 straight championships. They're going to lose some players. There's going to be some players that get old. So I kind of like the way it is.
Yeah, I agree with that too, Scott. I think that is a good idea. Keep it traditional, but because like you said, the Bulls, the Pistons, the Celtics. But as of right now, I think they're just talking about it so much is because the West has just been so dominant right now, and they just don't want it to continue that way. And it just seems unfair when you have the LA Clippers above 500, and they didn't even make the playoffs, I don't even think. They missed it by like a game or something, and the East is, they're off by like 10 games compared to the West. I guess that's what's up for debate.
One other signing, Rajon Rondo, now a Los Angeles Laker. He signs a 1-year deal, a veteran point guard. Always good to have those. Maybe not the best shooter in the world, but now you have Rondo and you have Ball and you have Dad already talking there at Los Angeles. Is this going to be a nice marriage? Are these two going to get along, or is this going to be a lot of drama on LeBron's team? Has he even met the coach yet? I don't even think they've even talked.
Probably not.
Luke Walton? I mean Luke Walton, I did have to get a chuckle when LeBron did sign with the Los Angeles Lakers, Katie. I saw a tweet where it said, congratulations to Tyronn Lue has just been promoted head coach.
I saw that too, and it was awesome.
I thought that was pretty clever right there.
Yeah.
But is it going to be a lot of drama in Los Angeles here with them? There always is with LeBron. But
do you just think with Rondo and Ball, or just
in general with those two, but I mean maybe on the team in general?
I mean, there's always going to be some drama on a team, but I think they all know what each other is capable of. Capable.
You got it.
Capable of, and they're going to work together because they know that each person is great at something, and something's got to give. I mean, we all, even the Lance Stephenson mentioned that he's on the Lakers as well, and he's been tormenting LeBron and vice versa for the last, I don't know how many years. One of the best defenders, I guess, on LeBron for the East. And they're now going to have to work together, so I'm excited to see that come into play.
Lots of signings here. A couple that I kind of scratched my head at, Katie. I don't know if these players are maybe worth the money. Zach LaVine for the Bulls, 4 years, $78 million. Oh,
yeah, I saw that as well.
Avery Bradley for the Clippers, 2 years, $25 million. I mean, I guess if the market is there to pay, good for these guys. But, boy, you look at some of these numbers, I don't know. I mean, maybe they're seeing more than I do on these players and what they do.
Especially with Avery Bradley being injured, like kind of like a quarter, half of the year. I'm kind of surprised with that 2-year deal as well.
I did like this one. Dirk Nowitzki, 40 years old, baby, joining the 40 club. 1 year, $5 million. Dirk, he's going to retire, be in the NBA Hall of Fame. He's always kind of one of my favorite players here. Just a guy that just kind of keeps on going, kind of like Vince Sanity there. Vince Carter. Is he going to play again? Was he like 50 now?
Well, we haven't heard much. So I think Vince is number one oldest, and then Manu Ginobili, and is it Dirk next?
I think Dirk's third,
but, we haven't heard anything, so I'm taking it that they're both still playing. All three of them, I guess. So.
Absolutely. Well, Katie, we're going to take a break here on the game. You can enjoy some beverages and appetizers here from the Wicked Sister. When we come back, you'll join us again for the roundtable, I hope, tonight.
Yeah.
We got to talk World Cup soccer. We haven't even talked about that. Have you watched any of it yet?
Well, honestly, Scott, I want to watch it, and I know that it's not my number one interest, but I have been camping where there's no service for the last week.
Sounds like my friend Don Supa, who's going to be listening tonight. He's rushed to the hot spot to watch some of these matchups here. Kind of snuck away from the campsite for a couple hours. I got to get some wood. Yeah, exactly. But it's been some great ones. We'll talk about that during the roundtable. When we come back, we're going to talk to Butch Davis from the Telegram News and Butch on Sports, who will get us up to date on what's going on in the Metro Detroit sports world. Tigers, well, Katie, they got a couple wins this weekend.
They're doing all right.
Well, they're doing all right, but considering
Subpar.
2 weeks ago when they were about 2 games out, now they're about a dozen games out. We'll talk to Butch about that, the Pistons signings, the Red Wings signings, and more on the game here on Eagle 95.1.
The Wicked Sister, Soo, Michigan. Check TripAdvisor, ranked right towards the top. Awarded the Certificate of Excellence, as well as voted #1 pub in the UP. The Wicked Sister has managed to create a casual menu that offers unique, creative, and sometimes healthy offerings that rivals menu selections of any big city. Burgers and starters, snacks and shareables, soups and salads, sandwiches and tapas. On Ashman Street, Soo, Michigan. Welcome to the Wicked Sister, where you'll be treated like family, whether you like it or not.
The Game Sports Show would like to thank a list of additional sponsors. North Shore Sports and Auto, new location located on 647 McDonald Avenue, Sault Ste. Marie. A family-owned and operated business with doing business in Sault Ste. Marie for over 10 years. Loads of products available for your enjoyment for all seasons. North Shore Sports and Auto, we understand the importance of quality service and products, and we work hard to ensure that all customers have a positive experience before and after each and every sale. North Shore Sports and Auto, meeting all of your new and pre-owned equipment needs. Special thanks to Salon. The Salon, located on 589 2nd Line East, Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. Owned and operated by Mike Cuglietta. Book your appointment today at 705-941-9191 or via online at https://thesalonsoo.as.me-. The Salon, making the Soo beautiful, one haircut at a time. As well as a shout out to the Superior Pro Shop. The Superior Pro Shop, located inside the Community First Credit Union Superior Arena on 285 Northern Avenue East, Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. Owned and operated by Jeremy Paquin and ran by Larry Monroe. Superior Pro Shop, for over 40 years, meet all of your skate sharpening, skate repair, and hockey needs. Also to Discover the Canvas. Discover the Canvas, located on 317 Wellington Street West, Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. A beautiful, new renovated building owned and operated by expert artist and Sioux native Katrina Thibodeau. Katrina taking her talents of the ink in Sault Ste. Marie and truly creating the best and most realistic art locally. Call Katrina today at 705-450-8099 or email her at discoverthecanvas@gmail.com to book your tattoo or consultation today.
Check out our brand new website up and running now at thegamesportshow.com. There you can find past broadcasts of all our shows from the Wicked Sister in Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan, and Boston Pizza and Sports Center Bar and Grill in Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. As well, you can find our brand new t-shirts available for just $25 a shirt. All sizes are available and proceeds will go towards Northern Critters in Need and Big Brother, Big Sister of Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. Now you can purchase the shirt by emailing thegamesportshowssm@gmail.com. Please state the total amount of shirts and size needed. They have payment options available, e-transfer, or cash upon delivery, as a shirt can be delivered to your location if you live in the Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan, and Ontario area free of charge. TheGameSportShow.com, where you find all your local, regional, and national sports that you just can't get enough of. Welcome back to the game on Eagle 95.1 and online at thegamesportshow.com, thegamesportshow.podbean.com, or go to YouTube and look for the Scott Nason channel. Scott Nason here at the Wicked Sister alongside Katie Wollan, who will be joining us during the roundtable. And the Wicked Sister has lots going on every night, including Thursday, another tap takeover here at the Wicked Sister, as Monkey Fist Brewery will be here, taking over all 8 taps with their wide-ranging selections of craft beer and more. You can always get a good meal and a good time here at the Wicked Sister. Well, we have a good man joining us here on this segment. His name is Butch Davis, co-host and weekly contributor of the game from the Telegram News and the radio show Butch on Sports, which you can find on this podcast page, thegamesportshow.podbean.com, or go to his podcast page, Simply Butch 2, that's TOO.podomatic.com, as Butch joins us each and every week to look at what's going on in the Metro Detroit sports world and the sports world in general. Butch, how you doing on this Monday night, my friend?
I'm doing 90-degree heat out here, and I'm doing just fine here.
Yeah, we're getting the heat up here, Butch. I can only imagine how hot it is. Before we get to the sports, did you have a good 4th of July and holiday?
Oh, most definitely. I sure did.
That's good to hear, Butch. Well, let's talk about some of the things going on in Detroit. It's been a couple weeks since we've had the game, and luckily we're able to hear your show to keep us up to date. But let's talk about first the Detroit Tigers, who are in action tonight as they'll be in Tampa Bay to take on the Rays. The Tigers did win a couple games over the weekend against Texas, but they did fall on Sunday by the score of 3-0 as Michael Fulmer allowed 2 earned runs in 7 innings, dropping to 3-8. The Tigers 40-52, now 3rd place in the AL Central with 11 games behind first place Cleveland. They'll be at Tampa and Houston this week before next week's All-Star game. Butch, give us a state of the Tigers heading into the All-Star break.
Oh, boy. You put me on the spot there. You know,
Easy question to start, right?
Really, I wanted to really bust out laughing when I heard that. Really, I did. You know, in the locker room yesterday, you know, they're moseying around. Everybody, you know, just calling it. Nicholas Castellanos is going to the All-Star game. Well, that just wasn't so.
Right.
As you know by now, he's not going. Joe Jimenez is going to be the representative for the All-Star game for the Detroit Tigers. Although the All-Star game is known for people getting injured and whatnot, and replacements are needed or something there, it's still a chance that Nicholas could be asked to join the All-Stars for that particular and live happily ever after. As of yesterday, it's all these reporters are climbing up to the guy's locker and aggravating the crap out of him here. And I just enjoyed every minute of it from afar there, because this guy got to keep a straight face and be kind to people, knowing getting well, you know. But that was one of the deals. As far as the Detroit Tigers is concerned, you get what you pay for, and that's really absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
We're going to see it pretty soon, where we're going to see some faces that you have not seen before from Toledo, and maybe from Erie coming up here, Detroit, to involve the Detroit Tigers and find out who's who and what's what there. Right now, the Tigers are who they are, what they are. They have a coach really right now that is satisfied with what they're doing and how they're doing it there, and you have administration staff that's also happy. So you're not going to see no joy kind of run of the Detroit Tigers getting in first place or so. It is what it is right now, and that is garbage right now. And you see it on the field. You see some price of greatness there, Jacoby Jones and other players there, indeed. And then sometimes you just see slop, and I think that's the big reason why Nicholas Castellanos is not in the All-Star game, because a lot of times in doing the defensive side, you see a lot of slop there, and you don't see any consistency as far as playing some good defense there. And they don't need that right now. This All-Star game, they need pitchers, and if they can get a pitcher versus a player who's just out there just to appear, 15 home runs is not a whole lot for an All-Star. You know that, and I do too, Scott.
Yeah, exactly. And Jimenez does get the nod for the Tigers in the All-Star game. And like you said, Butch, they need pitchers, and he will hopefully be pitching in the All-Star game. Butch, let's move on to the Detroit Pistons, making some moves here, not the big-name splashes as far as free agents. They did add veteran center Zaza Pachulia from the Golden State Warriors. Also have made some other selections. Give us a state of the Pistons here, making some moves here in the offseason.
I'm looking just at wind blowing here. And you know what? With all the build-up that we're seeing right now about the Detroit Pistons being a great team and all this other good stuff there, I hope we don't get a big bag of win out of this whole situation there, because, I'm just itching for a scratch here. Zaza Pachulia there didn't play a whole heck of a lot, but he did. He was a great support, I do believe, for the Golden State Warriors, because he can emulate other players, and I'm quite sure that's what he'll be used for the Pistons, to emulate other centers and whatnot there, in order to get them ready to play certain opponents and whatnot. Other than that, right now, you've got the Summer League going on right now. As you know, Luke Kennard is not participating in that. He kind of aggravated his knee. They're going to give him the time to heal and get right on that there. Hopefully it's not the wrong move or the wrong social move. And we're talking about Casey, indeed, talking about the health of the players there. And then really and truly there, that is the main objective for the Detroit Pistons, really there. They got to come into camp absolutely 110% healthy there, and nothing else will do. It was the same old song and dance. They need to invest in a good old-fashioned trainer to get these guys into a program that really they endure them not getting hurt all season long there, because the Detroit Pistons has been a mess when it comes down to showing consistency and not being injured there.
You sure have, Butch. One other thing I just wanted to ask you, as far as the NBA Summer League, something that I really haven't paid much attention to until the last couple of years, and I find myself watching a bit more and more of that. Maybe it's because there's not a whole lot on with the World Cup being during the day and the Tigers stinking. But do you watch any of the Summer League, and are you interested in that at all?
Absolutely no.
Absolutely. I need to find something else.
Really, and, the thing is pointless, okay? And I don't mean no harm in the particular there. It's a moneymaker for certain places for the NBA, and that's all fine and dandy there. But I find out that, you need some veterans to be participating in that particular there if they really want to make the Summer League a real Summer League there. Because in most cases, it's the veterans who are not ready for camp, and they come in there all sweaty and hurt, and as soon as they break a sweat of 15 minutes, they're ready to fall on down like, they need an ambulance or something there. And I just think it's pointless, to put a bunch of young kids out there. You're not paying them for their time. You're giving them room and board, and you're giving them maybe some extensions of maybe $10 an hour or something of that nature in order to partake or participate in a free trip. But, is it really doing everybody a bit of good? No, I'm looking at Trey Young or whatever his name is, looks like a slop house here. That I don't know what Atlanta's going to do here, but I hope he turns like a real basketball player very quickly, because there's some kids at 9 and 10 years old will do a better job than what that young man is doing. He looked very sloppy indeed here. I haven't seen him make a shot yet in the Belmont.
I don't think he has.
Right, and then a lot of the players as well there, Anton, the first round draft pick of Phoenix there, looking devastating, but no one's really watching them there. Okay, I saw Jermaine Jackson there get the crap kicked out of him by Bomb or Boom Boom or whatever it is here from Orlando here, just blocking the crap out of his balls. And you want to ask what I saw? That's what I saw, and that's why I can't participate in the front there. I watch maybe Blue Bloods or something. Get really something,
I'm really glad I asked this question, but good stuff.
Yeah, you did. Yes, you did, Scott. You opened up a can of worms in this one. A big can of worms.
I love it. Butch Davis joining us on the game. Butch, speaking of veterans, let's move on to the Detroit Red Wings. We're going to talk more about free agent signing once we get Dave McCaig here overall, but the Red Wings did add some depth on defense and forward and in goal. They re-signed defenseman Mike Green for 2 years, $10.75 million. They brought in free agent goaltender Jonathan Bernier on a 3-year, $9 million deal, and also brought back free agent forward Thomas Vanek for a 1-year, $3 million deal. Those were some of the bigger names on free agent signing for the Detroit Red Wings. They also did sign their first-round draft pick, Philip Zadina, to a 3-year entry-level contract. Butch, the Wings making lots of signings and going with some veterans as far as free agents.
Yeah, Ken Holland think maybe we can win right now. The Bernier move, I called that before it even happened. Okay,
you did.
We knew that was going to happen. Now the question is, who's going to stay? Okay, who are the goaltenders? Who's really going to stay? And there's something up Holland's sleeve that somebody's going to be going there. They keep saying Jimmy Howard's the number one goalie or whatever it may be. But it's very hard for me to believe, every time he gets a mate to join in with him, they either get sent up to Grand Rapids or they get slopped out. And Jimmy Howard end up not being sufficient because he's always getting injured all the time. That's another guy who stays injured and maybe misses a very important, significant part of a season because of injuries there. And that has to change for the Red Wings indeed. Vanek is another player who, you get this warm, fuzzy feeling that he's something special for the Red Wings. And then he, again, comes up injured and whatnot here.
Yeah.
And this is a huge, big, significant part of the season there. Whatever is in the bag of tricks there, for Ken Holland there, and which he did speak on it, on a conference line there. hopefully that what his plans is very well. He wants to win right now. He thinks he can win right now. I think Rasmussen and Zadina is going to make the team. No doubt on that particular there. I don't care what anybody say. I think those two are going to be made. The team is going to be made. And if they don't get it good, quick, fast, in a hurry, then they'll be sitting up to Grand Rapids for some season and whatnot. But you better believe those two are going to make the team. And I think it's going to be some pressure for some veterans there. Hendrik Zetterberg is the big news here, okay? Yeah. And as far as his back is concerned, and it might be, and the rumors are stating right now, that this guy may not be able to hack the season for the Detroit Red Wings. So that's going to be very important for them to have a center and some huge help in replacing Zetterberg, which, by the way, for the last 2-3 seasons, he hasn't been up to par. And it's good that he's being honest about his injuries, concerns, and whatever it may be. It would be better for me to see Hendrik Zetterberg sit out a season or don't play at all, and rather give the Red Wings a half sermon of contributions there, indeed. And that goes for a whole heck of a lot of other veterans on that particular team as well. I'd rather see them just sit on out and let the kids play there than rather just take up space and do absolutely nothing at all, and then get everybody built up for this second coming of the Red Wings getting ready to maybe make the playoffs and don't do anything at all.
Butch Davis joining us on the game. Butch, we are just about 1 month away from the first Detroit Lions preseason game, Friday, August 10th in Oakland. What's going on with the Lions? A couple weeks out, obviously, from training camp. Anything to report on their end?
Not really nothing at all. And they could. They wouldn't let it out the dome here. I think you hear more about players going to jail or whatever it may be for involvement. And so far, so good. It hasn't been no Lions so far. There have been players sprinkling out of the training facility in Allen Park as we speak, per se, just, getting used to the playbook, getting in shape the way they should be to be able to make the team. It's going to be a huge coming of players in training camp this year because, again, you have that new coach, and he wants everything his way, and he's going to pick from, my gathering information and looking at how he's going to coach it. He's going to get some players that's going to be smart. And also got that playbook down there very quickly here. So if the players want to make the team, they know what they have to do right now in order to catch this guy's attention, which is the new coach of the Detroit Lions.
Butch, before we get to our round table, we got about 5 minutes or so. Anything else from your end as far as sports in your area that we haven't covered on this segment that you'd like to talk about?
I got a bunch of stuff at all here. Let me stop and think here of some things I've talked about here, maybe just recently here. The kiddies, okay, they have maybe less than maybe 3 weeks before they start football and volleyball and all this other stuff. I do believe that better day is the 8th of August there for
less than a month already.
Yeah, less than a month to go, and the kiddies will be out there getting in shape, and all the teams are doing it behind closed doors as well there. Hopefully they get caught and get put in a jail.
Give them the address.
That's right. I tell you that right now.
Yeah.
And hopefully that's not going on. I think the biggest thing with that I just, I put out last week, I wrote an article on, is that HSAA, they need officials, okay?
Boy, they sure do.
And it's best time if you want to have a job, and I'm thinking very seriously myself, getting myself in some type of running shape here, to go and apply for this. You got to take a test and all, which is always valid in anything you do there. But if you take the test and take in the training there, it's going to be very rewarding pocketbook-wise during Christmas and the holidays. I tell you that right now. The things that you learn about kids and all that and the help that you'll give them is godsend. So if you consider a secondary or third area job or just a hustle here. You know, you might want to go to MHSAA's website there and learn how to be an official in some type of sport, or maybe 2 or 3, okay? And it's very easy to do. Just go to their website and check them out. They will appreciate it there. You know, John Johnson and all of them there. And also, we haven't mentioned on that show that Brother Roberts is going to be leaving there, okay? And
right.
And new Buzz is going to be coming there running that organization there. And Jack Roberts, we wish him well. And his retirement upcoming there, which is going to be very soon. I still have not seen the date of the going away party there, but I know it's coming.
I believe it's coming in August, Butch, and I wanted to piggyback a little bit on what you said about officials. A couple young men and women I know that are just kind of getting into the officiating business, at least baseball and softball, the ones that I do, and had a young man. We had a American Legion tournament over the weekend, and he went to Twitter and did voice his displeasure. He didn't say anything out of the ordinary or anything, but he made the comment that it's a wonder that so many young people, or just officials in general, don't go into the officiating because of the actions of certain coaches. And I've been doing my officiating for baseball. This is my 6th season, and 95% of the coaches have been great, and you don't have any or very few problems, but it's that 5% that sometimes sticks with you. And if you go into officiating, Butch, you know this as much as I do, you got to have some thick skin, and you got to be able to take some criticism. It's not always easy, it's not the best, but you know what, you got to do it because you know it's going to come. The games get intense, and what I deal with in softball and baseball pales in comparison with some of the officials and things that I see with basketball especially. Boy, I don't know how anybody officiates basketball with some of those calls and in those gyms and districts and regionals as well as hockey. It's a tough business to go into officiating, so I got to say, there's one thing you got to have a little thick skin and never let them see you sweat, right, Butch?
And not only not let them see you sweat there, but, and let me be making that piggyback on concern there, because just recently we had an incident where we had you mentioned basketball per se, big brouhaha happened there that was nationally put up in Twitter, up in Facebook, up on Yahoo. You saw it, and it's a big problem with parents and whatnot going in there, having a happy-go-lucky attitude on the sport there. Really and truly, I think schools got to start getting behind the officials, and also teaching some courtesy, okay? Because the kids are watching how they act at these particular games and whatnot there. And it's not like Detroit. Detroit is a pocket of 26, 28 high schools there, where basically all those particular gyms are full. And by the way, in Detroit, you're doing games at 4 o'clock instead of maybe 8 or 9 o'clock at night,
right?
Whatever it may be. But in many of the areas, such as where Sault Ste. Marie and where you're at, that is their professional outlet there, okay? And a lot of people bandwagon those particular towns and get behind those teams. I kind of remind you there that these are kids out there trying to have some fun and a good time and make amends and whatever it may be with what they do and how they do it. Some will get scholarships and others will have some great fond memories. Don't screw it up, parents, by, getting overly personal with these officials out there. It has made things very, very rough out here. And, when people expect fights to come on as being part of the game, then there's something very wrong there.
Butch Davis joining us on the game. Butch, we're going to take a little break here at the Wicked Sister, grab another beverage. Hopefully you can grab a beverage where you're at, and when we come back, we're going to start the round table. Just me, you, and Katie. Dave McCaig's a little bit late. He's being held up at Customs. Hopefully it's nothing major, but stick around, Butch. We'll talk to you in the next segment.
Okay.
All right, we'll be back with more of the game here on Eagle 95.1.
Get wicked at Wicked Sister. You'll find the best tasting food for you and your family. Start off with some wicked appetizers like the crab dip, served with soft pretzel bites and warm non-bread strips, and delicious boneless chicken wings that are antibiotic and hormone-free with 5 choices of sauces. Try the barbecue pulled pork sandwich or the #1 selling drunken cow burger and the chicken caprese flatbread. Check out the Wicked Sister gluten gluten-free menu and catering. The Wicked Sister, downtown, Ashman Street, 7 days a week.
The Game Sports Show would like to thank an additional home to the Game Sports Show, Canadian franchise Boston Pizza. Boston Pizza, Sault Ste. Marie, located on 601 Great Northern Road, Sault Ste. Marie. Come in and join Boston Pizza for its numerous specials that are offered. After 9 p.m. daily, come in to Boston Pizza for $9 schooners, $4 rail drinks, and delicious food. Boston Pizza, Sault Ste. Marie, you're among friends.
Thank you for tuning in to the game. Heard Monday nights from the Wicked Sister on Ashman Street, downtown Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan, on Eagle 95.1 and online at RadioEagleSoo.com. You can also hear the podcast of the show at thegamesportshow.com or thegamesportshow.podbean.com. I hope that you are enjoying the broadcast. If you want to hear more of the Twin Sault's only local, regional, and national sports talk show, I encourage you to visit our website, thegamesportshow.com, and hear a pair of broadcasts from Soo, Ontario. Dave, Mr. Electric Avenue McCaig broadcasts a show on Wednesday nights from Sports Center Bar and Grill in Soo, Ontario, along with regular contributors Jamie Antonello, Justin Heichel, and Dane Handro. They focus on football with their very popular In the Pocket segment, talking about the National Football League, along with basketball, the NBA, and other sports, including but not limited to tennis, golf, soccer, and even the WWE. If you like hockey and baseball, Thursday nights are for you as the Game Sports Show is at Boston Pizza in Soo, Ontario. Dave McCaig, along with regular contributors Justin Heichel and Dane Handro, and Brad Cochamilio from SooToday.com. This show focuses on hockey in the winter, local and national hockey, along with baseball in the summer, and includes guests and interviews with local and national figures. Once again, you can hear 3 versions of the game at our website, thegamesportshow.com, or at the podcast page, thegamesportshow.podbean.com. Also on the podcast page, you will find audio broadcasts of selected Soo Eagles home games, along with Brimley Bay's basketball and Soo High Blue Devil hockey. You can also find Butch Davis's show, Butch on Sports, on the podcast page, as well as my shows with Paul Van Wagner from ESPN Blacksburg on the Drive. You can also find us on YouTube. Look for the Scott Nason channel, and thank you for listening, and keep it locked here to the game for all your local, regional, and national sports talk that you just can't get enough of. Welcome back to the game on Eagle 95.1 and online at thegamesportshow.com, thegamesportshow.podbean.com, or if you're a YouTube person, go to our YouTube channel. Just look up Scott Nason. Scott Nason here at the Wicked Sister. Only have had 1 beer, I swear, on this Monday night, and lots going on at the Wicked Sister, including Thursday, Tap Takeover by Monkey Fist Brewing, as they will be here starting at 11 a.m. and taking over all 8 taps with their wide variety and selection of beverages. So always a good time here at the Wicked Sister. We'll be joined here in a little bit by Dave McCaig, host of the Game Sports Show from Soo, Ontario. And we're joined once again by Butch Davis from the Telegram News and Katie Wollan here at the Wicked Sister. Well, Katie, we're going to have you go first as far as a topic you want to bring up on the round table. And Butch, I'll give you first crack at Katie's topic. So,
Perfect.
Katie, don't be nervous. What would you like to bring up to tonight's round table?
This should be easy for Butch because he's in the Detroit area. I just wanted to talk about the Tigers and how they had their 11-game losing streak and how they snapped that and how they're doing somewhat better. And I just want to get Butch's opinion on it and what he thinks is going to continue to happen with these Tigers of ours.
Butch, Katie Wollan, the glass half full. I'll go to you for maybe the other half of the glass.
Oh, God. Ethnic cleansing. Well, boy, you kind of missed the 15-minute segment, Katie. Here's the deal.
She was getting some appetizers.
The appetizers there. Okay. Well, welcome to the club here. To deal with the Detroit Tigers is very simple here, okay? I think we have a president right now who wants to clean house. completely, where he can have the autonomy to do whatever he sees fit of getting brand new players involved in Detroit. And I think he, as bad as he wants to right now, I think you have ownership, which is Chris Illich right now running the whole show, who's saying, hey, look, I want you to clean house. I want you to get rid of all the garbage. And, you know, as far as the record's concerned with the Detroit Tigers, it is garbage. It is less than what people have been looking at the last 10 years. We don't, you know, a lot of words. I think Michael Fulmer is going to be a goner. I think Jimenez is going to be a huge trade base for someone if they can get somebody greater than what he's giving the Detroit Tigers right now. I think Nicholas Castellanos is on the table for someone to get a hold of him, maybe during the butt end of the season to make a contender grand there. So the pieces that you're watching for the Detroit Tigers may not be what you call someone that you're going to look up to like in years past. You kind of knew who was going on. I think the biggest mistake with the Detroit Tigers, in my guesstimation, is that they do not, and I feel bad for the coaches of their farm system and whatnot, because once upon a time, you can bet your bottom dollar that the coaches from the farm system will have a chance to move up and be able to manage or take part in the Detroit Tigers' growth and development, and that's not happening anymore. You're getting the rinky-dinks coming on in there, such as the particular situation of Chris Bosio, calling someone out their name, and then you got a million people trying to defend the guy here. And he shouldn't have been here in the first place. When you're bringing up pitchers and catchers and players from Toledo, from Erie, from Western Michigan, and those coaches don't get a look at it. We're looking at Lance Parrish right now, a diamond in the rough for the Detroit Tigers, not giving him an opportunity. There's a lot of people involved in this organization who will never get an opportunity to manage the Detroit Tigers because right now staff is so thick-headed in trying to get someone famous. And really and truly, and I have nothing against the current manager right now of the Detroit Tigers. I have nothing against him. But I don't think he should have been here. I think there should have been some Detroit Tigers who have been loyal to this particular organization, been given the opportunity to deal with those young kids that they've been nursing along and bringing them up. And I think that's going to be down the road a piece. That's going to be probably the signal that the Tigers, when they do that, they'll make some very good positive changes for the upswing for this particular club.
Yeah, I'll go next here, Katie. I agree with a lot of what Butch said right there. He said it in our segment, and he said it there. And I'm going to kind of swerve a little bit as far as not just the Tigers, but just talking about Major League Baseball. And maybe because I'm distracted by the World Cup for the last month, maybe because apparently I'm watching NBA rookie camps or whatever you call it, I just have not been into the baseball season this year. I don't know what it is. This has probably been the least I've been interested in baseball in quite some time. And now partly is because the Tigers are not doing very well. And Dave McCaig, who just showed up here at the Wicked Sister, by the way. Dave, welcome.
Scotty, how you doing?
Dramatic entrance as always.
Dramatic, I try to keep as, I can see even now Katie's touching my hair.
I see that. Well, hey,
it's quite interesting.
It is very interesting. But just Major League Baseball, I mean, you look at the stats right now, I think they're at historic lows as far as the season, as far as batting averages and what's. Maybe it's because New York and Boston are way up, and I just haven't been into baseball at all this year. I don't know why. I'm trying to put my finger on exactly what it is that just has not gotten me into baseball. Expectations of the Tigers, but I expected them not to be good. I expected them to be garbage.
Maybe that's why.
Many ways, and so that could be part of it. But again, could be distracted by the sun and beach, could be distracted by the World Cup, which I am, which we'll talk about here in a moment. But Dave, the question Katie had was talking about the Tigers, and I kind of want to swerve it a little bit more towards the Blue Jays, kind of in the same position as the Tigers with a little more expectations. What's your thoughts on the Jays right now? Who about 20 games behind New York and Boston right now?
Almost 50. Oh
could
God,
be
pretty soon.
What's your thoughts?
The Jays had expectations this year to be a wild card team. Was kind of where people had them pinned, like a second wild card, mind you, because you either have the Yankees or Red Sox getting that first wild card spot, and it seems like the experts in the media were right about that. So the wild card is what we thought for the Jays, and then we look at them compared to Seattle. Look at them compared to Los Angeles. You look at them even compared to even Tampa Bay so far this year. They haven't been as good. And look at their big factor is that their pitching was supposed to be a big leader for them, and the Blue Jays haven't had that kind of there's any kind of pitcher spearhead and take it away. You know, everyone kind of points at J.A. Happ, but Happ who absolutely got shellacked. Yeah, he did. And congrats to that. And he absolutely got shellacked in his last outing by the Yankees. But it wasn't supposed to be him that was going to lead this rotation. It was Sanchez or Stroman, right? And then Happ is a former 20-game winner. Can't give him any, I got to give him benefit of the doubt. But the Blue Jays had those expectations to get to the playoffs this year in terms of squeaking in for the wild card. But really, they don't have the team that can compare to the teams like the Sox, like the Yankees, like the Astros, or even the Mariners, or if you look over at the NL with the Atlanta Braves and those teams right now that are coming up. And I'm into the ball season because I love the Blue Jays, but I feel this year they're disappointing. They are extremely disappointing, all because of the pitching. And you know what? They're hitting, you're right. It is historic lows with the averages. Like, a lot of players are having these brutal averages, and everyone's like, oh, look at, I think the guy on the Brewers, Jesus Aguilar, I can't pronounce his name, apologize, 22 homers. Is his average like 270 or something like that?
No.
I think it's like not, usually when someone's batting with those numbers, they got 300 average before. I don't know if the pitching's stronger or what's going on. The balls are coming in harder, but at the end of the day, when it comes back to the Blue Jays side of things, they're behind the 8 ball right now, and they're too far back. I know anything could happen. They can have a Moneyball-esque kind of couple weeks and win 25 in a row, but let's be real here and say that, there's basically time for the Blue Jays to start thinking about the future of that organization, how they can get into the playoffs in the future and be successful for years instead of a couple.
Katie, your thoughts on your own topic, Tigers? How do you feel about them?
Well, I don't really watch enough like you kind of have been saying, but I was just thinking Zimmerman's been pretty good for the Tigers currently. I don't know if they're going to keep him. I know that there's been trade talk rumors about that. But, he's kind of inconsistent. He also struggles with a shoulder injury and neck condition. But other than that, I don't know. If he keeps playing the way he's playing, I think that the Tigers can be doing somewhat okay, subpar.
Down the road, I think, is what the Tigers are looking for. Dave, let's go to you next, and then Butch will give you first crack at Dave's topic. Dave, first of all, welcome officially.
Yes, thank you for. Sorry for being late, and Butch, hello, Katie, Scotty. Apologize for being late. When you forget your passport and your wallet, you have to go back and get it because
didn't get the rubber glove treatment.
No,
I
didn't. I told them that I was running late at the border, and they kind of just looked at my passport and let me go. Maybe it's because I'm wearing the shirt.
That could be.
Who knows? So I apologize for being late. Usually, my Brad and Justin would laugh about that.
Sure.
Being late, but
I'd like to bring up tonight on the round table.
I think it's obvious what I want to bring up. This is the first show we've had since number 91's donning the blue and white for the Toronto Maple Leafs this year.
Yes.
I don't know how much you guys may have touched on it.
Not much yet. Just the wings.
Just the wings, yeah. So I know maybe we can, you and I are probably have a nice little chit-chat about it after, but I kind of want to talk about the John Tavares sign in Toronto, the NHL offseason in general, which honestly has been a pretty great offseason. If you want to go back to the draft, the Detroit Red Wings had an amazing draft. We've already talked about that in the week before last week, obviously. But with the free agent season kicking underway on Canada Day, July the 1st, it kicked off with a bang, and that's John Tavares going to the Leafs. And, there's a lot of names, JVR going to Philadelphia, and Ryan O'Reilly getting traded to St. Louis, Bozak going to St. Louis. There's a lot of individuals. Mike Green staying with the Red Wings was a little bit of a surprise for me. But, just want to talk about the offseason in general, and obviously with John Tavares going to Toronto, because I love when people talk about that.
Yeah, Butch, Dave has been very excited for the last couple of weeks about the Tavares signing. NHL free agency, your comments, sir?
None at all, period. It stinks. Really and truly about the free agency, again, it's I got more of a buzz when I watched the rookies were in camp down in the basement of the Little Caesars Arena there. I am very excited with all the trades and whatnot there with the NHL this year there. I'm very excited for the Leafs, especially there, because they finally got a player that will help them and not hurt them there. And although they haven't had players that they got hurt them, I think Tavares is really what the Maple Leafs need in order to go to that next level there. They seem like they're stuck for some other reason, and it's now 2 years I've put my money in the Maple Leafs, and they haven't really given me the buzz. But this year, right now, they have given me the buzz because of the virus in there. And I think he's going to bring some flavor to Toronto in general, especially with the players that they have right now, which is the majority of them are young. And Tavares has been around the corner again, and he's coming out of a situation that he is very glad to be out of, okay? And believe me, I think the enthusiasm that he's going to bring to the Maple Leafs is going to be something special. And if it's not, then, quote me later after New Year's, okay? But I think Toronto right now got a diamond in the rough there. They're going to get over that next hump there, for real. That's seriously. As far as the Red Wings are concerned, it's a wait-and-see prospect. Again, talking to Kenny Holland, they're going to make the playoffs this year with what they have. And I say, what have you been drinking, Kenny? And leave it at such there. But again, if Rasmussen and Zadina don't start for the parent club this year, right now I'm looking at that as being the big flavor for Detroit Red Wings there. Those two, Rasmussen and Zadina, will be making the parent club, along with some other surprises indeed.
Yeah, Butch, I agree exactly what you said about Tavares signing with the Maple Leafs. That's a game changer for Toronto, and I like what Butch said. That kind of steps them up, I think. They needed a player like that. Obviously, he was the marquee guy going into the free agency, and he is very happy to be going where he is going in Toronto. A good young squad. You saw their AHL team win the Calder Cup. Obviously, Mike Babcock, we know what he can do, and that's a great place for Mr. Tavares. Van Riemsdyk goes to the Flyers. Obviously, that's going to improve that squad.
A lot of money.
Quite a bit. A lot of money. One that I really like, and I think this is a great move by the Golden Knights, who we talked about Colin Miller. We talked about him earlier, re-signing, and of course they lost Mr. Neal going to Calgary. I love Paul Stastny going to Vegas. That was a great pickup by him. They didn't have to, cash the farm for him. I mean, it was, I think, 3 years, $18 million, whatever it was.
You got it.
I think that's a big signing, I think, for Vegas, and they're going to be players this year. I mean, they're not just a one and done squad there. We talked about the Red Wings and some of their ones. You mentioned the Blues making a couple signings there. Tyler Bozak being one of them. Others. So, Dave, I know you've talked a lot about this more on your shows this past week, 3 shows as a matter of fact, but what are some of the ones? John Carlson, he re-signs with the Capitals. Obviously, that was kind of a no-brainer. Ilya Kovalchuk, back with the LA Kings, 3 years, $18 million after a stint in the KHL. But what are some of your thoughts as far as players, maybe some that we haven't talked about that you were really impressed with?
The one thing, I'll start with the Toronto thing, is with Tavares, 7 years, $11 million. Great signing.
Absolutely.
Okay, that is, you got Connor McDavid making $13 million and Geno Malkin's making the 10, so only Crosby's the one who gets his number for his salary. So I really think that with the Toronto Maple Leafs doing the signing that they did with Tavares really solidifies that center. They lose JVR, they lose Bozak, and they lose Komarov. That's 4.25, and then 2.9 going over to other teams. So that frees up about the $11 million in cap space. The Toronto Maple Leafs have $15 million in cap space still to spend. Now, as I touched on yesterday's show with our special edition of the Game Sports Show, now we have a new home for the rest of the summer at Silver Creek Golf Course. We're going to be there on Thursdays or Sundays, which is going to connect with our Boston Pizza show. So we were touching on that there, and also touching on the show at Boston Pizza this week, all about that reaction. And the big thing that came out for the Leafs was the people are talking about their defense, that they haven't improved. And if you look at their farm system with Travis Dermott, who's technically up with the big club, but he's still from the Calder Cup winning Marlies. You have Timothy Legerin coming up. You have Andrew Nielsen. They have some guys that are within there that are going to be very good hockey players. And apparently Toronto's front runners, apparently the rumors came out today about going after Justin Falk from the Carolina Hurricanes. So I kind of intrigued about if they're going to go that route as well. And they're trying to contend and keep up with the Tampa Bay Lightning. And Tampa Bay is a team that they're presumed to get Erik Karlsson. They seem like they have a deal that's almost basically done. So it'd be interesting to see if Karlsson does go that way. But the thing is, and you brought up one of the signings, is Kovalchuk going the other direction. Coming back to the National Hockey League, the LA Kings are absolutely screwed when it comes to cap. I don't care what anybody says. Kovalchuk is 36 years old. Okay, he signed a 3-year contract, and he's getting about $6 million cap hit. You got Carter making $6+, Kopitar 11. You got Doughty, who's 11's kicking in next year. You're paying Dustin Brown 5.9 or $6 million as well, and a guy who's really dropped off the map. So they're paying a lot of guys a lot of money. Jonathan Quick is not cheap either, and they're locked in, these guys until 2024 or something. The Kings have all these contracts locked up, and it's going to be very constraining. And that's where I have to say a lot of these teams are very surprised. A lot of teams didn't get money hungry. They weren't feeling a burn in their wallet that they had to spend money. The only team that I point fingers at that's overspent was Philadelphia on JVR. Yep. Okay, so he's almost a 40-goal scorer, don't get me wrong. But when you're playing with Mitchell Marner, maybe you put him in the situation he plays with Giroux. But I think $7 million is a little bit too high for JVR. He's not Evander Kane money. I know Evander Kane has a complete different attitude. He's very conceited and a cancer in the locker room, but he's still a guy who is a better player than James Van Riemsdyk is. I'm going to be totally honest. And I know he's coming from Toronto going to Philly, and I'm just saying Evander Kane is a good hockey player, and I think he's worth more than JVR is. Bozak, even he got too much from St. Louis, I feel, but that's the going rate. That is the market. And a lot of signings that came out in this offseason, there was some a little bit high, but overall, it was exciting. Teams getting new players, teams being active. And the offseason's still not done. There's a lot of rumors that are going on. This is probably one of the best offseasons that the NHL has had in the last few years.
Butch, let's go to you for a topic. Katie's going to skip this one. Katie will give you first crack at this. This is the roundtable portion where we just kind of banter about different topics in the world of sports. So, Butch Davis, what would you like to talk about tonight on the game?
Other than Neymar is flopping, how do y'all like the World Cup this year here? I know I stole something from somebody here, but too bad. Tell me about the World Cup. I mean, do you like it? You don't like it? Do you have a new home for Neymar, not going back to Brazil or whatever it may be? And how about Messi finding a house in maybe Portland, Maine or something? Tell me about it here.
Katie, we talked about this offer a little bit, the World Cup. I know you're working during the day doing sales for Eagle Radio. Have you had a chance? What are your thoughts on the World Cup?
I haven't. I guess the only thing I could say about the World Cup is actually Scott sent me a video of England beating
Colombia in the penalty kick in the quarterfinals.
And the save by the goalie for
Pickford.
England.
Keeper.
Thank you. Thank you. He's going to add in on this because he knows all the players. I don't. But it was quite amazing if you guys did or did not see it. So I guess that's my input on the World Cup and England. Go England.
That's right. Go England. I'll email that to Butch here, the little Snapchat video I made of the England penalty kick. Dave, before we get to my long answer on Butch's topic, again, you don't have really a horse in this race. No Canada, no Italy. Have you watched much of the World Cup? What are your thoughts?
I've definitely kept in touch with it. Disappointing not seeing Italy there. Obviously, that's when it comes to the whole entire Sault Ste. Marie. I think the ratings drop for us. No one even talks about it in Sault Ste. Marie. So, following it, though, there was surprises. Argentina was such a disappointment. I can't, and poor Messi, man. Like the guy, I wanted to see him get a win, and it doesn't seem like that's going to happen in the World Cup for him. So, there's a lot of surprises. I didn't think Russia was as strong as they were going to the tournament, Scott. To be honest, I was surprised they did get as far as they did.
Lowest ranked team in the entire tournament.
Yep, and they, maybe being the host team gives that additional momentum. And I like France's team right now. I am liking France, and they're playing Belgium, I believe, in the semis. And then you have England playing Croatia.
A lot of Croatians over in Sault Ontario.
Exactly, there is. Croatia's corner right now is big in Sault Ontario for those games. So I'm going to say right now I see England. Something tells me England. They haven't won, I believe, since 1940.
66.
66. Okay, so 66 they haven't won, and I kind of can see France going over from the other side. I did say a couple weeks ago where I had Belgium being the guys to watch, but I think you're going to see France and England get in there, and I really like France's team. They're awesome. They're dynamite. I think England, though, is the team right now to watch. I don't really have too much reaction about all the teams because the teams that I want to be in there are most definitely not in there, and that just includes Italy, most speaking of. But the World Cup has actually been very exciting. You've had Spain go out unexpectedly. Germany, the defending champs, get out, right? So this has been a full of surprises, this World Cup, and that's what I like about the game of sports, and especially with soccer. It's a matter of inches and seconds, the game, and anything can happen. And the penalty kicks have been happening. Very exciting. The goaltender made that big save. Was that for? I believe that was for England.
Yeah.
This reminds me of Buffon in that, for God's sake. So it's been very exciting and watching and keeping tabs as much as I can, even at work. Having streaming on the computer screen. Sorry to my bosses.
Listening.
Trying to keep in touch as much as I can because it actually has been a very entertaining World Cup.
Yeah, Butch, I'll go next. I have lots to say. We haven't really talked about the World Cup yet. It's the best World Cup I've seen.
Yeah.
I've been watching World Cup since 1990 when the U.S. made their first World Cup in, I think, 40 years. And this one by far has been the most entertaining despite the fact that there's no USA, despite the fact that there's no Italy. But what I've liked about it is there's been lots of goals. There's been lots of surprises. It hasn't been very predictable. We did our predictions, I think, a few weeks ago, and I don't think many people had England and Croatia making the Final Four. Most people had Brazil. Most people had Germany, Argentina, and you got to give credit to the four teams that are in there. Each deserve to be there. Belgium, a team that cruised through the first round, they were down 2-0 to Japan with about 30 minutes to play, and they come back and win, and then they have the victory over Brazil, and Neymar's flopped, which I think he's still flopping somewhere, which is absolutely ridiculous. This is the golden generation for Belgium. They have a lot of guys that play on my favorite Premier League team, Chelsea, Eden Hazard, among others, Peter Courtois, their goaltender, who made a great save in that match against Brazil. France, a team that many people thought were going to be really good in 4 years. They're overachieving right now. They have a good young team looking to win their first World Cup since 1998, and that's going to be a good match. Brazil and France tomorrow. You look at the other side of the bracket. You talked about Russia. You got to give it up for the Russians knocking out Spain, and then just a save away from knocking out Croatia in the penalty shootout. The host teams do very well traditionally in the World Cup, and I thought that was a great story. And Croatia, my kind of dark horse in this tournament. They deserve to be there. They've been in the World Cup semifinals only once in 1998. But I'm sporting the jersey. I am an England fan after living there for a couple years. And just to see this squad, where they're at, is amazing. You look at that quarterfinal matchup against Colombia, the round of 16 matchup against Colombia. They get to the penalty shootout. They led that entire match. They get to the penalty shootout. They've never won a World Cup match in penalty kicks. They've never won anything, hardly, in penalty kicks. And the fact that they won that match the way they did, it reminded me of the Capitals beating Pittsburgh. They had to beat Pittsburgh if they were going to go and win the Stanley Cup, slay the Dragon. England did slay the Dragon in that penalty kick shootout against Colombia. They had no trouble with Sweden. They're going to take on a Croatia team that's good. I do like England winning that one. Yep. And I got to say, Belgium right now, they might be the team of destiny. Winning that match against Japan, that's going to be a good matchup. Almost Belgium has to win now. They don't really have a lot of room in the future. France, they're going to be great in 4 years. But just the World Cup in general, I think the coverage has been good. Unfortunately, and that's going to be part of my thumbs down and thumbs up, is my favorite announcer by far, Jose Perez Navarro. Didn't even get a round of 16 quarterfinal broadcast. We'll talk about him during our thumbs up and thumbs down, which was a shame because anybody that watches a match that he broadcasts, he is absolutely amazing in what he does in his describing of the game and his humor and excitement. Fox has done a okay job, I think, with their coverage. Not the greatest, but Jose Perez Navarro should have been doing. He should be doing the final, as far as I'm concerned. But not to have him in the mix is a travesty, in my opinion.
Are you English? I never asked you that. Are you English?
I have English on my dad's side.
Okay,
yes,
okay.
indeed. Yes,
Random
indeed.
question.
I appreciate that. Butch Davis, your thoughts on the World Cup, my friend?
Well, my association with the BBC and whatnot there, who gave me my job during the Olympics in London.
That's right.
That's right. I gotta salute them there. I'm rooting for England. I'm not gonna lie about it. I think the play of the game, the play of the whole World Cup was that Russian goaltender saving the ball with his foot there. Okay,
saving a beauty.
That play alone, and I can frame that and put it on the wall here. As far as the announcers are concerned, I'll add one more to the picture, that scenario for Fox, who stunk it up there, not including the gentleman that you just mentioned. It's Gus Johnson, okay? Gus Johnson has not been part of that scenario there, and they ought to be ashamed of themselves here. He is one of the best announcers in America right now, as far as anything is concerned there. As far as basketball, as far as football, Gus Johnson. I think it's a shame they don't have. You talk about one announcer they didn't have there in the final round where it gives some excitement to the air. I think it's a shame that one of the better announcers in all America right now, Gus Johnson, is not part of that ensemble for Fox Sports and announcing some of those games, soccer games in Russia. There, I just think it's pathetic. Okay. Thumbs down for Fox for that there. You already got my thumbs down tonight here for that particular there. They messed that up very much so there. They're not using the best announcer. They should have got Jim Ross. I don't know, but
there you go, JR.
Yeah, JR. Of course, he got injured here recently here in hospital. Again, the World Cup has been pretty doggone exciting there. I think England's going to take it there, but Belgium is the team to watch, okay? Just plain and simple there. Yeah, those are the two teams that I will kind of bet your money on here. Now, I'll probably be wrong, and the other two teams get in there for the finals, and England and Belgium be taking on third place. But you know what? This has been a very exciting month for soccer, and it really took the place of baseball that really has, the big old article out today that the attendance and everything now is very much so down in baseball. And I think half the thing is the reason why it's the soccer there.
Butch Davis, Katie Wollan, and Dave McCaig joining us on the game. We have time for one more topic. Now, Katie, you and I discussed this topic during our segment, so we're going to let the boys here discuss this one, talking about NBA free agency a couple weeks ago. I know you guys probably both have a lot to say. Dave, we'll have you go first, and then Butch. Well, the big news, obviously, about a week and a half ago, LeBron James does sign with the LA Lakers, as predicted by me, I might add.
Scotty Nason.
But there were more signings, including Mr. Cousins going to Golden State and creating a super team. So I just want your, Dave and Butch's thoughts on LeBron going to Los Angeles, the super teams. Is that fair? Where some of the other players may be going? We haven't heard too much about Leonard. Dave, I'll go to you first, and then Butch. NBA free agency. LeBron, a Laker.
Oh, I got to say off the hop, you got to listen to my show from Wednesday about my little reaction. Okay, it's on the second part. You'll see on the layout. Myself and Jamie Antonello spent about 45 minutes talking about the NBA offseason. And if we talked about LeBron, yours truly, starting with LeBron. I predicted him to go to the Philadelphia 76ers. And, I'm not surprised he went to LA. The guy has three rings. He has two with Miami, one with Cleveland. And he has that, he owes nothing to Cleveland. I'm sorry, Cleveland fans. He went back there. He won a championship. I know would you live in Cleveland? I'm going to flat out ask that right now.
EJ back.
Sorry, EJ. Sorry,
Where's
EJ.
he been?
If I had a choice between Cleveland or going to LA, listen, the guy has a couple rings. He wants to go to LA to play. I get it. That's actually a good decision by him to go to LA. And they don't have a super team there. He went there because he truly wanted to go there. Magic probably persuaded him in a way to go there as well. So I have respect for LeBron for going there. I don't know what they have planned. I know Kawhi Leonard, who we just learned today is apparently the Raptors are front runners to acquire him now, which is absolutely absurd because next year he's going to be signing
Rich
in
said
LA.
that a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, he did say that, and that was a dreamland for me. But now they're front runners. So the big thing though that I touched on Wednesday was DeMarcus Cousins, obviously signing with the Golden State Warriors, and I've said it 3 years ago on the show. I called Kevin Durant a coward.
We were talking about that, yeah.
And that was, if I could take that back, I probably would because it wasn't the most professional. It's just me being rash.
You were a little rough around the edges at that point.
Very much so. Now, ever since then, they've won 3 out of 4 championships, and he's won 2. He's won 2. Mm-hmm. So, it is what it is. It's something you can't change. But now the West is so dominant, the East is wide open. So here I am thinking, all right, players are available. And I listened to Paul Van Wagner on ESPN.
Oh.
Okay, because he had a title about the NBA, and I said, you know what, that was last Wednesday I tuned into him, and I had to see what he had to say because I wanted to use some of his quotes. And Paul, if you hear this, yes, if you listen to my Wednesday show, I used some of your quotes, and it's not Golden State's fault. It's not the NBA's fault either. This is the other 29, 30 teams in the league that apparently didn't give him offers that he wanted. Okay, now, apparently the representative, the DeMarcus side, reached out to Golden State and said, hey, I want to play for you. What's Golden State going to say? No? Yeah, no, we don't want you, bro. Sorry, I don't want you to play for me, man. They'd be silly not to. I'm not even mad at Golden State.
Sure.
I'm not even mad at the NBA. I'm not mad at DeMarcus. I was mad at Kevin Durant, but I'm not mad at DeMarcus Cousins, who is arguably the top 2 best centers in the NBA right now, as an all-star this year. Yeah, he has his Achilles injury. Some people are saying half the year he'll be out, quarter of the year. No, he'll be at training camp. He'll miss the first 10 games, and he'll be back. And now they have 6 guys, Golden State. Not 4, not 5, not 3. You got Curry, you got Clay, you got DeMarcus, you got Draymond, you got Kevin, and you also got Iguodala. Okay, so you got 6 guys that just rotate in there. Was Iguodala going to be the 6th man of the year this year? Is he going to win that 6th man award now? But now people even say, this is what Paul said. This is kind of a little bit extreme, but there's only one way that Golden State doesn't win this year. It's if Clay, Steph, Draymond, and Kevin get in a car and just jive off the bridge. I'm sorry that's inappropriate to say, but it's so true. I'm sorry.
Took into a Game 7. They were up.
They did. If Chris Paul was healthy, he probably would have won that series, to be honest with you. But I really think adding DeMarcus just puts him over the top. I've said on the show that if LeBron was going to sign in Golden State, I would ban watching the NBA.
Never.
But it didn't happen. Now with DeMarcus going there, people ask me, Dave, you're going to ban watching the NBA? You know what? I'm not really going to ban it, but I'm really upset about how this happened, how the other teams didn't give DeMarcus what he wants. Or maybe DeMarcus just wants a ring.
Sure.
He wants a certain. Why not? $5.2 million.
He wants to feel important.
He wants to feel important. Sure, he wants to be able to. Next year, when he wins this ring this year, he'll go command max dollars, and someone like the New York Knicks are going to give it to him. Just like Klay Thompson's probably going to get a max deal from the Knicks next year. So I'm telling you right now that the offseason has been quite, a little bit of a surprise in terms of LeBron going to the Lakers for some people. Not yourself, Scott, obviously, but the biggest one, DeMarcus, going over there. So, believe it or not, I'm not that upset that he went there because it's not his fault. It's not Golden State's fault. It's the NBA other teams who sat there and said, I don't want to give DeMarcus $14 million. I don't want to give one of the best centers $14 million. You know what? DeMarcus said, you know what? Screw them. I'm going to call it Golden State, win a ring, stay on San Francisco, go beachside and play with some real basketball players, win a ring. Next year I'll get my max contract. So the NBA, I wish they could kind of watch this because all these star players are signing for discount deals, it seems like. But at the end of the day, the NBA is not at that point to be able to ban that or stop that. So I'm not mad, Scott. Believe it or not, I got no harsh words to say.
That's good.
I don't. I think I know who's going to win the title this year. It's quite obvious.
Good odds.
I think their odds are like
bad odds if you're a better
3-1 or something. Yeah. That's the highest I've ever seen a bet. So, I know what, I got to say thanks to Paul Van Wagner for keeping me kind of composed and looking at another outlook.
Wow.
Because before that, I was looking at an angry perspective. But when you think about it and you see all these rumors and all the facts flourish and come to surface that about the other teams not being involved, it's really not Golden State's or DeMarcus' fault.
I don't think I've ever heard the words uttered, Paul Van Wagner, thank you for keeping me composed. I've never heard that in my life. Butch Davis, your thoughts on the NBA free agency and LeBron going to the LA Lakers?
And you never will hear about Paul Van Wagner being composed. Never. I kind of enjoyed it as a good laugh. LeBron James having a house in Brentwood, signing with the Lakers, and now everybody's getting a buzz of who he's going to get to play with him, and da-da-da-da-da. Here's a story. I remember a story long ago there about the LA Lakers before they had Shaq on the team, Kobe Bryant. They went out and got the glove, and also got my uncle, Mr. Karl Malone, which makes my cousin Cheryl Ford.
Nice.
Okay, but and you know what happened in that scenario there here, and that's what's going to happen to the LA Lakers this year as well here, and I'll be laughing to the bank with that. As far as DeMarcus Cousins is concerned, that's a great deal because number one here, the guy's still injured, okay? He doesn't have to rush to the jury there to be ready for the beginning of the season. He can about sit on his rear end here and don't be actually ready to about February, okay? And when he can break him on out here and then give the polishing touches to a grand NBA season for the Golden State Warriors, who will win another championship there. That's just fact, okay? If Kawhi Leonard go to Toronto, then there will be Toronto against Golden State. If not, we'll look at Philadelphia there, because that's the team right now that's going to be up and coming. As far as all the moves that been made in the NBA, come on. I'm not excited over it. Here, and I'm not mad with anybody either. You can pick up somebody for $1 million like the Golden State Warriors did with DeMarcus Cousins. You can't be mad with them, okay? If you pick them up too. If they said, I'll take you for 50 cents, DeMarcus Cousins would have went. Pretty soon.
You're right.
And pretty happy. So right now, the excitement is not with the NBA right now. It's the excitement's going to come close to maybe September when we actually find out where all the other players are going to be going. The people who are not signed yet. And the Kawhi Leonard, what will the Spurs do? Will they keep him and just get insulted by not being able to play the guy? Or will they hurry up and get their money's worth and trade him to someone that they can rob the bank out of there? Boston will be eligible, and I know Toronto's eligible for this man to come to their team there. And if LA get him, they're going to have to throw out half the doggone team they have right now. Which, by the way, they have some talented people there. So here we go, boys and girls. Just kind of wait till September, and all this will fall in our lap. Hopefully.
Butch, as I asked you earlier, the excitement is definitely not in the NBA Summer League, is it?
No, it's not. It's not really here. You take a can and a bucket and kick it, and you have more with that here.
Let's get to our thumbs up and thumbs down for the week. Katie, we'll go to you first. Who you got for thumbs up and thumbs down?
My thumbs up is to Magic Johnson and the Lake Show dynasty with the Lakers for landing LeBron, whatever you want to say. Lance Stevenson, Rajon Rondo.
Lance Stevenson. I can't believe that happened.
I know.
I think it's awesome, but Lance and Rondo being one-year deals for, like you said, discounts, and connecting them with rising stars as Lonzo Ball, Brandon Ingram, Kyle Kuzma, and also Josh Hart. And Josh Hart right now is actually dominating Summer League. No surprise, 23 years old. But, that's my thumbs up for the week.
Got a thumbs down?
Thumbs down. Thumbs down is pretty much what Dave was saying, which was DeMarcus Cousins, which is the Pelicans not giving him a better offer. I think they offered him a 2-year, $40 million deal. And
said no.
Let's just say DeMarcus Cousins, he averages 25 points, 47% from field goal range, and 13 rebounds. And you add that into the Golden State Warriors now, Stephen Curry and Kevin Durant are both averaging 26 points. So everyone watch out, because DeMarcus, when he's healthy, he's amazing.
Absolutely. Thumbs up. I have a couple thumbs up this week. Thumbs up to youth sports. My kids play youth sports. We play a lot of tennis, but one of our avid listeners, Don Supa's daughter, Chloe, plays soccer under 8, I believe, in that division. I had a chance to watch her a couple weeks ago. It's been a couple years since I've been on the soccer fields. My kids played it for a couple years, but it wasn't their thing, and it's just good to get out there and see youth sports. Butch says it all the time on his show and on this show. I say it. Dave, you say it. Katie, I know you say it. Go out and support youth sports and these coaches that are volunteering their time. They're not getting paid for this, and they're going out and they're dealing with difficult parents sometimes for kids that don't get enough playing time. And go and support local sports. If they have a fundraiser out there, if they have a burger bash or a raffle or selling pizza kits, go out and support that if you can, and give these organizations locally here, Sioux Soccer Association, the Sioux Area Little League. Dave, I know there's tons on your side as well, but give them some support, not just by showing up and being there, but give them some financial support if you can. Thumbs up to the World Cup. England obviously was very excited at watching their matches Wednesday. I got to try to figure out what the heck I'm going to do with work and trying to watch that game, but I'm going to try to DVR that game, which starts at 2, and not look at anything. But thumbs up to Jorge Perez Navarro, the announcer that did several games during the opening round of the World Cup. He's been doing it for a few years for Univision, and somebody that I've followed. I got a hold of him as far as listening to his broadcast for the first time when Mexico was doing their qualifications, and I did send him a tweet last week mentioning, I said, you have not just made passionate soccer fans like myself happy, but you have also turned some of my friends into soccer fans, and by far are the most exciting and fun to listen to announcer of the FIFA World Cup. I hope to hear you more, sir. And if he sent one back right away, says thanks to you and your friends for all the support. Godspeed to all of you. So if you ever have a chance to watch a soccer match with Jose Perez Navarro, I highly encourage it. He does an amazing job. I got to put him as my top soccer announcer now, because it doesn't matter who's playing. I listen to him and his excitement and passion and humor and everything he adds to the broadcast. Thumbs up, Mr. Perez Navarro, and I'm working on getting him on the show maybe once his schedule kind of diminishes a little bit during the off season. He said he'd be interested in potentially coming on the game, and to that I say thank you, sir, or gracias, if you will. Dave McCaig, your thumbs up and thumbs down before we go to Butch.
I think it's pretty obvious where some of my thumbs up are going. Kyle Dubas and the Toronto Maple Leafs, and I say Kyle Dubas because him and Shanny and Babs went into that conference and John Tavares and absolutely swung out and knocked it out of the park.
Grand slam.
And that was an absolute grand slam. And now seeing him in Toronto, that's amazing. That's exciting when you're coming from a Toronto fan. We haven't had too much excitement come from much, so that's it's good to see that. Obviously, I got to give a thumbs up to Jamie Henderson Silver Creek Golf Course as well. Making us a part of their family. Another address of the Game Sports Show. Add to a long list of our addresses. So I'm feeling positive. I don't really. I got absolutely no negatives that came in today with a positive mind. I'm on holidays. There's no stretch. There's no stretch
right now.
Literally, and I'm just all positive and all happiness right now. So I'm going with thumbs up too and no thumbs down.
Butch Davis, your thumbs up and thumbs down for the week, sir.
I gotta get on that show one day. I gotta hurry up and get on that show here. And you got a golf course too here. You're getting some fine vittles there. I know it here. Okay, thumbs down for the Fox announcers there. The announcers that I expected to be there are not there. There's no your thumbs down. The thumbs up, and there's 2 of them here. Okay, and I try to be as nice and gracious as I possibly can, but for the Pistons getting Zaza Pachulia here, and throwing Eric Wollan out in the street, that was a big one here for me here, because now the Pistons get to see someone get actually a real ring, and and maybe get jealous and maybe do better. The other one is Michael Jordan always pulling out these great deals. You heard about the LeBron James deal. Michael Jordan has done it again, boys and girls here. He's got Bismarck Biyombo on the Hornets there. Now, this is a mistake that Toronto made years ago in letting this guy go to Orlando. And they kept this guy and gave him a little piece of change there. I think Toronto will be in better shape than what they were because they haven't been nothing since they let the guy go. So hip hooray for Michael Jordan and getting Bismo Biombo on the Hornets staff here. And it has to be pretty dry when I give those two thumbs up here.
You are very positive tonight, Butch.
Yes, I am.
Let's go around the horn here before we go. Katie, first of all, sales, Eagle Radio. You've been on for a couple weeks. How's it going?
Sales is actually not going too bad, Scott, but that's because I just have the best teacher in the business.
Rosemary Smith.
This is Rosemary Smith. She's Vice President of National Sales, so I couldn't be more thrilled to have such a awesome, positive, young woman helping.
That's
me.
right. It's good to see you in the office, Katie. We love having you on board and on this show. We'll talk to you next week here at the Wicked Sister.
Thank you for having me, Scott.
And Dave McCaig, a very busy guy, putting not one, not two, but three shows together last week. He kept me busy. I'm here on the beach. He's sending me emails saying you got to do this, do that.
I felt like a ball. I apologize.
No apologizing because your shows are fantastic. We get a lot of people listening. You have shows now at Sports Center Bar and Grill, Boston Pizza, and Silver Creek Golf Club. You can find all those shows on the GameSportsShow.com or the podcast page, theGameSportsShow.podbean.com. What do you have in store this week, sir?
I think it's good that I go week by week because of the schedule, how alternating it is especially between Boston Pizza and Silver Creek. They're going to be on rotating days,
sure.
One on Thursday, one on Sunday. There might be the odd Friday instead of a Thursday in there, so I'm trying to keep it as not complicated as possible, especially when I open up the shows each time I'm explaining the show's week agenda. It's like, okay, I try to make sure I read it to myself before I say it on air. So this week we have our makeup show for Sports Center Bar and Grill. We are there this Wednesday. Myself, Jamie, and Matt Primo will be there. We're going to be talking about the SaberCats football in Sault Ste. Marie. We're going to have some players on as well, get some player interviews. And we're probably going to be tying in also a little bit more NBA reaction, especially if some bigger moves go on. We might tie in baseball this Wednesday as well because when it comes to Thursday, we're going to be at Silver Creek Golf Course. I expect Brendan Brooks to be on, who's a professional European hockey player and a good friend of mine, him to be on the show. And we're going to be at Boston Pizza on Sunday. Now, Boston Pizza in July, we're at Boston Pizza until the end of July. And then when Boston Pizza closes its doors, which I don't know if I for sure can say on air, but I'm saying it anyways, we're going to be at Silver Creek full-time every Thursday to the end of August before we start our new location that I can't fully announce just yet. I know the rumors have been out there.
Stay tuned.
I know the rumors have been out there. People have asked. People have heard things. And you know what? Good for you for doing some digging, but I won't be announcing that till later on.
Well, Dave, thank you for making the trek over here, and we'll talk to you hopefully next week here from the Wicked Sister.
I will be here.
And Butch Davis, you can hear his show, Butch on Sports, on our podcast page, thegamesportshow.podbean.com, or you can go to his podcast page, Simply Butch 2, that's TOO.podomatic.com. What do you have in store this week, sir?
Chasing down that guy, who's closing down the Boston Pizza there. And I'm quite sure you can find where that guy is right now here if you look at the CBC. I'm not going to mention the show, but you know what? That's bold. I'm hoping it's not financial there that they're closing down the Boston Pizza there because they really got some good pies there, man.
New restaurant going in there. There's someone bought them out.
Somebody bought them out. I hope they made a profit there, because they done that. We can watch that other show on the CBC and talk about them like a dog. Okay. We won't mention his name because, you're still in that building there. We don't want you to be on the street, slipping down the gutter, in some water or something. I don't know here. But, I'll be watching the Tigers for the last week before they hit the All-Star break there. And then now we'll get into football and a lot of other stuff there. But right now, we're going to kind of take it easy and, get everything together here. And that'll be it for this week here.
Butch, it's 1 minute to Monday Night Raw. Thank you for joining us, and stay cool. We'll talk to you next week on The Game.
We sure will.
All right, that's going to do it here from the Wicked Sister. I want to thank Katie Wollan, Dave McCaig, Butch Davis, Scott Nason, signing off. And we'll talk to you next week for another edition of The Game here on Eagle 95.1.